Why you bully me?
Man, I wasn't even going to do a clip on this because all I'm going to be saying, idiot, idiot, garbage, socios, get rid of them, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not alone in my feelings about these two idiots. Um, I know that Ashton here is the dumbest tool in the shed. I was like, I was trying to figure out what was wrong with her. I was like, I know she's not as dumb as him, but they do have some stupidity in common. So there's a reason why they're together, right? I was like, I don't know what damn woman would be with this man unless she has a power control problem or she's as dumb as him and she hates herself. So, yeah, it's more that. She hates herself. So, these two idiots, this is the problem with Hollywood, and this is one of the reasons why I was talking about this too, because I was saying when my stuff came out, regardless of which group of idiot men that did this stuff to me, all their friends, including, well, you could see who's part of those clans over there, want to support people because they're friends with them. And no, I don't actually buy this whole thing like the guy's cool to me. Like, okay, so even in hindsight, when I'm looking at these men, even ones where, okay, such as the guy that's went off working with Ilton, okay, that guy was kind of a dick. Because when I'm thinking about the whole story, like they already knew that this guy was a predator, the assistant guy. And so he wants to use me as a pawn in the middle of this like battle between him and the perp. And then want to blame me because he doesn't get another job or something. Like there was a thing about it. I don't know. But in the after all of it, it wasn't during the time that we went on a couple dates. After it, somebody came to me and said that he preyed on his woman. And I was like, well, he didn't do it to me, but when you're looking at the situation, he was a jerk the whole time, actually, because he set me up to go on a date. So, what are we defining as cool guy? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. I go, they're actually okaying their shitty behavior to begin with. And then, so there is something, wrong with everybody else. Like, it isn't something like they're this piece of shit and it's all in private and you know nothing about it. They're a piece of shit talking to me. Like I could literally go through all these guys and I'm like, oh, hindsight. Well, somehow I just totally didn't think too much about what these people are saying or whatever. It could be conscious, unconscious things, but it obviously something wasn't bothering me that much to like, okay, whatever was going on, right? But now it's all like there's a lot of hindsight of me going back. No, it's everybody. They're all a piece of shit. So I was like, just if we're gonna put this like this. But we do have male victims, so I've been trying to talk about that. But these are the two people. These two, oh my god, they look like straight off a trailer park in the middle of like fucking Arkansas. I was like, okay, so and he looks like it's just so painful for him to think. I don't know. Didn't Demi Moore like marry this guy? Like, okay, like I'm just thinking, like she doesn't really care about the brain part of things. Because there's no way in hell I would be with a guy that's talking like this, because he's technically degrading us all, and he doesn't technically really like women. He likes somebody where I mean, you'd have to, for him to feel any power, he has to find somebody even dumber than him, which would be like abuse, because he's kind of on the bottom of the floor there, like borderline like disability. So in here, I don't know who said this. Let me see. On Saturday, Yashar Ali shared a statement from rape victim in Danny's case, Jane Doe 1, aka Jen B. Okay. And like I said, I really hated this case because he's like the jerk of all jerks, Danny, and he doesn't even have a charismatic, likable quality about him. Like there's this thing about him where it's just like he's that typical dick, like kind of like guy that was in school that could even be like on the football team, like that typical guy. Like he fits that. So there's nothing like what can I say about him? He's a piece of crap. I mean, that's just the thing. And what's her name? Mila or whatever is saying that he was her, hero guy growing up. And I'm just like, we all set our own bar and, mine was quite high and there really wasn't a person that I was trying to emulate or really looked up. I mean, when I'm thinking about things, like there was people that I admired, definitely, but there was nobody doing what I wanted to do because women were not able to, because the men kept us out of the industry, right? Like out of the music industry, mostly in the genre that I'm talking about. But they keep like bullying all the women and raping them out of the industry. So there wasn't that person there. So what I looked up to, I was trying to be a model of something that I wanted, like I want to be this good person, do this and change the world and do what I'm doing right now, actually. Yeah. I was like, funny enough, because I was like, I wanted to come in and change it to the equality for women and everything else, and men need to stop fucking degrading us and yada yada yada. And it had nothing to do with feminism, because we didn't even know what the hell feminism was. And at the time I identified with the Republican, and I was going to church. So that's where it came from. So if they have a problem, it came from that. So I was a Republican Christian that wanted to do that. Like technically, but yes, my stance technically fits to a independent, I guess a liberal, whatever, atheist now, but it doesn't, none of that stuff matters. It's a thing that it was all abuse, and you didn't need to be a part of a group to know that it was abuse. And they get abused just the same. It's just the normality of sociopaths in public has been okay. And these celebrities are idiots. Like, just because they're famous doesn't mean they have any fucking brains. This guy Ashton was like the dumbest thing out here. I was like, if you go put Deb, Ashton, and Joe Rogan together in a room, holy crap. Like, because they're all a bunch of socio idiots. Like, they're kind of like the bottom floor of intelligence. And it's like, I have a very low tolerance to this because they're a danger to us. It's not like somebody born with like a learning disability. I'm not even trying to go at that, because like they don't understand, right? But these are people that literally understand, and just because he's stupid doesn't mean he's not also a sociopath, because what he's saying is, I have no empathy for women, and her too, and you should let him go because we don't feel he's a danger to society. It's like, you don't think a serial rapist is a fucking danger to society? You're an idiot. And what was their stance for it? Oh, because he's our friend, and and my mentor and a guy I looked up to, so that's why you should let him out. Like, really? Like I said, I was writing on this other thing. I said he'd get an F from a teacher. Like, how'd you come to that conclusion? It was like, you're sitting there at the beginning of this. They said, oh, we don't believe it's true. Okay, so you don't even know that he did it. So now you're out here vouching like you should just let him go. You're assholes. Like, that, really, that's the thing of it. And there's some people that want to be nice about how they're talking about this. I'm not. Like, we don't have that filter. We're very abrasive over here. So I was like, and you should be, because they've never been told off in the way that they should be, because they have allowed this. And it wouldn't just be from this guy, okay? It would be from everybody around them. It could be a male raping somebody else, and this is how they're going to respond. Oh, he's my good friend, so we're going to protect him, just like all of Alice's old fart fucking pals and girls and women over there. Yes, you guys, we're talking to you too, because that's who we were like pulling out, right? Same thing with the Dio camp. Those people too. Yes. And they're the same people that come out here and try to parade that they're for us and everything. It's like, I'm a woman. I know what piece of shit man ain't for us. But they're going to talk over us and tell us that they aren't. So anyway, these two idiots. I was like, that's why I said I wasn't going to do a clip, because it's just going to be me trashing the shit out of him. Because I've had enough. Like, I keep reading his crap. I'm like, this guy has to be the dumbest fucking thing I've ever ran across in a while, besides the other two I'll talk about. But I mean, just really. Like, he might even be dumber than that. Like, it's just like air just goes. Okay, so it says the video was incredibly insulting and hurtful. Gen B, my hope is that they learn radical accountability and the importance of self-education to learn to keep their privilege in check. Yeah, they're privilege abusers, and I keep pointing them out, and they're self-centered. That's the narcissist part of being a socio. And it's all about them, right? It's like, he's really nice to me. It didn't affect me, so I don't care. And we want him out in the public so he can harm everybody else. But he just didn't touch me, so I don't see a problem with it. Yeah. And then it's all, especially Ashton. Yeah, because I feel like he's like the manipulator in the whole thing. Because, like, women are a bunch of idiots at times where they just follow along with these guys. And I've been pulling out different cases of it. Like, even the Paris thing, I thought that was a great one. Because it was like, the thing didn't pop out of Paris's mouth. It came out of that greasy fucking bear guy's mouth. And then she went along with it, right? So you're seeing a lot of that. And women are trying to get into spaces that are male supremacist spaces. So then they conform to the men. Like, they feel they have to be just like them in order to, you know, do all this stuff. Sharon Osbourne, she's another one. Like, they're all hot mess. And they all have abuse in their background. So we're focusing in on the child abuse because that's exactly what's going on here. Some of the tell-offs to this bigger picture of things. It's a complex topic. That's why I've been like doing like tons and tons of things on it, because it's not, you have to be educated, or at least semi-educated. You don't have to be like, you know, professional in these fields, but just trying to get the general idea of like, here's child abuse. Here's, you know, the religion, and here's male supremacy, and here's ASPD. Like, so just having a general knowledge of that to see, like, how come this clusterfuck of humans came out and why the world is a piece of shit. Okay? Because these are the same people that if you go back in history where they were abusing all the kids, that they would totally cover it up. These are the Joe Paternos and, you know, all those people, these two idiots. It's like, he's a great guy. Do they not sound like every other guy in sports when all their pals get busted for rape? He's a great player. He's a great guy. Because outside, you know, him doing this like petty little thing about serial raping, you know, it's no big deal. And that shows you that they have no empathy for our gender. They don't care about rape. Rape is not a serious thing at all. Even though they may say it, this is the flip-floppery of ASPD. So then they go, who claims to work with victims of sex crimes? Yeah, I was like, oh my God, keep this guy away from actual victims, please. And then as to Mila, I can only think of Time's Up. Was she part of that? That whole thing was a joke. I have already talked about that, where they're like, go to, what was it, the self-help legal, where they don't even deal with that. And then that lady was all telling me off at the oh my God, what is it called? The self-help legal services. Anyway, she was like telling me off, and she's like, that's why you can't find anybody, because you know, I don't know, dude, she was being a snot. It was you could tell she's some religious conservative piece of shit. Like, I know them right away. Like, you know, cult people right away. Because the way how they talk to other women and treat them, they're shitty. They're like the old conservative Catholic nuns, right? That go beat up everybody. And they look down at anybody, and then, yeah, but they don't even deal with any of that. So why were they, legal aid. Like, why would they even tell people to go through that stuff? Because they don't deal with it. And then when you go talk to them, then they start abusing us. And then they turn around going, oh, we have nothing. And so they would know this. So it's just a like a systematic abuse type of thing. They don't even understand what human trafficking is. And it's not porn, and it's not a willing sex worker. So America was founded on human trafficking. So that's why I'm saying, it's interesting that all these men human traffic women all the time, and then yet they're like, oh, that's different. We could do that. But these adult, whatever, and TV and whatever videos, whatever, and then yet it's the celebrities that are doing the human trafficking. Like, they could be actors, musicians, doctors, all the normal everyday jobs is where like these things are occurring. And it was the Christians that threw the kids out on the street, to where then other predators came along and human trafficked them. And then the cops looked at it, the kids were the bad ones and they're not victims. And they didn't even use the term human trafficking. Okay. So that's why we're talking about that, because the public is a moron. And thankfully, I have to say, I have to pat myself on the back for sticking to my morals and just riding through this hellhole called life, because it's a lone world when you're right. It's like mostly when the rest of the public is completely off kilter and wrong. It doesn't mean I'm right all the time, but the thing is that I knew this was a problem and nobody listened, and this isn't a thing where I kept silent and didn't tell anybody that something happened to me. It was me telling people that things happened to me and them okaying it and then just brushing it off. Like it's not a big deal. Like they literally, with the Alice thing, the whole time, they weren't, some of them weren't even calling me liars. They're just like, oh, what big deal. Anyway, move on. It's like, oh, so you're totally fine with getting kids. So why the hell do you feel the need to bully me? You know, so I continually get this thing. I go, you're a sociopath just bullying anybody. Like, who bullies somebody? The whole thing around being a bully is being a socio. So I was like, why would you go bully anyone? So you have to be aware of those people. And then making violent threats. I mean, please see the definition of that personality disorder, because that's what it is. Apparently Pete Davis is claiming that he's a BPD. I'm like, I'm pretty sure probably ASPD. But yeah, he's a funny guy, right? But holy hef. I'm like, holy hef. Accidental, but okay, so then it goes also, okay, Allie also uploaded another post which accused the celebrity couple of using heavily lawyered language and added that, oh yeah, good, that letters weren't just character letters you'd write for a friend. The letters, which contain a great deal of Scientological phrasing, were intended to undermine the victims who were drugged by Danny. Yeah, that's the thing. Not only is he a rapist, he also drugs women, and you could die from incidents like that as well. He's a danger to society. That is not something that you do a couple times and now you're better. So it's a hate crime. It's a very thought out mental process to go and prey on a person and do that kind of thing. And it's something he had done for a long time. He had multiple victims. I don't know if they were all able to be part of this suit or anything like that, but he is definitely a serial rapist. He's a predator. He's a criminal. And his general everyday talk would actually flag you. If you're not educated on any of these topics that I'm talking about, you will miss those flags, and you probably have been okaying that type of person the whole time. So it's not a thing where it's a mystery and no one ever knew. It's something to do with you and okaying the way that they're talking. I just want to make that clear because that was really evident in the Depp case when all these people came out. I was like, the guy's a socio. You're okay with it. They're also degrading our gender. And what woman would come in here and try to okay that kind of thing? So, yeah. So then that actually helped us out here of what's actually going on just in a mass group of people. So that's what's going on. Trust, that's totally going on, because like I said, it's a hindsight thing, and when I look back at some of these other people, it's like, oh no, I totally knew all this. And in fact, I jumped the one guy because he was hanging out with a bunch of kids, you know, like, so it wasn't like a lot of that stuff. It's just like, and I didn't okay it, but I'm just saying, like, there's some other situations where I may have brushed off some things because I'm just used to everybody degrading us all the time. And it just becomes a thing. It's like, yeah, I take it. You know what I mean? So, yes, no, it's not a thing where, like, you had no idea. It's just that you're not on top of yourself and you're not catching the flag. So I'm here to try to educate, you know, or keep the awareness of what MS is and being a sociopath, so you can actually pick it up much easier, because they're a danger to us all. They're a danger to humanity, and they create the new little Hitlers, okay? So, and serial killers and domestic violence and all that stuff. Domestic violence and all that stuff goes back to the Christian church. So, a lot of that stuff. So, yes. And like I said, I could do a mega course on MS, like big time, and I'll just keep going back to being a sociopath. And then psychologists or whoever, their therapists, misdiagnosing these people. Yeah, well, That's been a danger to us all. They're all a bunch of rapists. So how come when they went in to see you that you didn't classify them as a socio? Because that's part of a socio. Being a rapist, that's part of a socio. And they're all a bunch of rapists. So I don't know. Like, you guys are doing something hella wrong. Okay, so it says, we are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny. But we did it anyway, because we don't care about women. And so it says, Kutcher began the video, and to which Kunis added, we support victims. We have done this historically through our work, and we continue to do so in the future. Don't they remind you of these psychotic Christians that go on these missionary things in other countries? And then they abuse, the people over there. And then they come out and they're like, we've always done the wonderful work for people. Like this thing. And then they get attacked online for abusing people over there. Oh my God. And then they get mad and they're like, we're just these saints, dude. We have their best, intentions at heart. But these victims, man, the perpetrator's my friend. So we're going to support him and give letters to let him out. These people are disgusting. I'm not going to be nice to these two idiots. He makes my brain hurt. He looks like he's hurting when he talks all the time. It's a stress for him. And I'm not even the best speaker, you know what I mean? But he looks like he's in pain. Like, words. Oh, feelings? I have to care about women? That dude is fucking cool, dude. Me and him go way back. He raped a couple girls, and maybe so have I. And we all probably drugged some women, because a lot of these men have, so they are having relatability to men being rapists and also drugging, because a lot of these men have done that, and they got away with it the whole time. And you already know that those two, mostly when you're good friends, dudes, we already know how the dudes fucking talk with each other, because they always join me in thinking I'm a dude, that they would be sitting there trashing and degrading women and what they do. I smashed that girl. I got her up in my house. And yeah. So this is normalized, and women are not normally present for these conversations, but sometimes they are. But for me, I'm always hanging out with the guys, and that's not even purposeful. Like, the industry was like all guys. So then I end up with these assholes, and they start talking about women's bodies and different things in the most fucking disgusting way. I was like, that's the true them. And they're the biggest gossipers out there, and they start spreading lies about women all over the fucking industry. So God only knows what they said about me to some other people, but they can all get F, because the only way that you would believe that is if you already have such a low goddamn opinion about us. So, and like I said, I go, there was this time where they were doing that to me, and I go, I should have never repeated none of that. It was just a thing where it's like, I don't even know what the fucking hell's going on with those people. But when I went to research some of this stuff online afterwards, no, they were just lying. I go, the dude got arrested. What are you talking about? The woman didn't abuse so-and-so. And yeah, but they were trashing every single woman. And here's the flag. When they do crap like this, they're going to do it to you. So if you're in a relationship with these idiots and he does something like that, guess what's going to happen? They're all going to pile up on your ass. That's the thing about it. You see these people do it. They're garbage. And you would need to say sorry. You're not for victims. You're the one you're the one out here parading. They're fake. They're fake. And coming out here parading that they're for us and they're all this and dealing with, keep these people away from victims. They're a danger to us. A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing. Well, here's the thing. Nobody has to do shit. And your wording for it, trying to make excuses for that is just bullshit. That's bullshit. You're trying to... And in fact, somebody else from his family, I think, did a story and said that they're full of shit. Something else, dude, but it says the letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling. No, but they're on this thing where they don't believe he's guilty and they want to protect him to the end. Because that was their whole stance at the beginning. We really support him. We really hope it's not true. So we're totally kind of like disregarding the victims. And he's our friend. So, you know, we want him out free. That's their whole thing. They're selfish. They're narcissists. They're sociopaths. They were intended for the judge to read, not to undermine the testimony of the victims or to re-traumatize them in any way. Because you didn't care. None of these people care. It's all, we would never want to do that. No, you do want to do that. You guys have been doing that the whole time. We're sorry if this has taken place. Here's my middle finger. F you, F you, F you from all victims. You represent every piece of shit on this planet doing that crap. And it says, our heart goes out to every single person who's ever been a victim. Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. Go see a fucking head doctor. Mostly the female in here that's with this dumbass guy who's like dumber than a I'm like a fucking bag of rocks. I don't know. This dude is so dumb. Like, it hurts. It hurts to even try to lower my fucking intelligence to even get on his level. Like, I don't know what's wrong with her. But like I said, beyond her being dumb too and totally into targeting herself, I would take her ass into a fucking therapist to get her a self-esteem. Because that shit right there, I can't imagine. It's like she's dumbing herself down even more to be with this guy. But I love him. It's like, dude, he's a fucking moron. He's a moron. I'm not holding back. He's a moron. Let's be real. Men have historically been calling women stupid. And that was an okay thing for society. Do you see why they did that? Because they're dumbasses. Because it makes them feel better about themselves and they're stupid as fuck. Okay, so that's really the thing about it. So they deserve the fucking wrath of women. Because what the fuck is this? He thinks he's a natural born leader. And I'm like, dude, you can't even fucking get yourself out of a wet paper sack. I mean, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't want him to be in charge of anything. Because everybody would die. And they're all my friends, you know, so I gotta let him, you know, touch a button that's gonna blow up the freaking planet. Like, that, I mean, that's the guy you don't want to give, like, you know, real silverware to. Because he might cut himself, you know, eating. Like, this thing about it. He's gonna stick a fork in an electrical socket. That's him. Explain it. Love ain't that blind, dude. You're just being stupid. Because that, it should be a turnoff because it's almost like taking an advantage of a disabled person. Like, honest to God, like, there's a thing to it where, that, it should be a turnoff. Like, because, you know what I mean? Like, you could take advantage of them. That's why men went after little girls because that was the MO, was to take advantage of them because they're not, you know, educated enough to fight that off. So just saying, like, a woman that's into that, you may question that because it's the same mindset. No, I can already tell Ashton is an asshole. Because if you look at this old picture of those two together, they both trouble. I can tell from this photo right here, because I'm a visual. So we already know all these son of a bitches. No. He want to be passing off some bullshit over here. No. I wouldn't even be surprised all of a sudden, all these women, unless he did something, maybe the victims are totally being silenced down. This is the type of guy right here. There's no way in hell. Like, there ain't some bullshit. So, yeah, you have to really think beyond just, oh, I didn't know that my good friend did this. No, it's a lot more complex than that. You've been okay with how they've been acting. You passed it off. And then you just been okaying it for all these people to come bully us. And that's them right there, right? No, furiously. Like, every time I go through his things, that's why I, like, don't do a lot of things on them. Because I have nothing good to say. There's no likable qualities. There's no, there's not much to talk about because they're the general blanket of America of garbage, human, men, and the women that support it. And so it can't be positive. I'm not going to be positive about it. Mostly when they ruined my life. I've been on Earth for decades. There hasn't been a good day on this fucking planet because of these son of a bitches. So no, they don't deserve any fucking niceness. No, we're not going to be kind.